So, a mulligan to 5 for Greg and a mulligan to 6 for Andrew. Ancient Tomb into Chalice on 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to blur that out. I have to do a better job of warning people that they shouldn't put their passwords on camera. All right, so Flooded Strand for Greg.
Lower the light on that.
Spirit guide.
Undermountain Adventurer for Andrew. And cracking a fetch is Greg. In response, it looks like. So maybe we're going to see a daze here. Can't exactly brainstorm in response with Chalice on 1.
Bolton? Bolt me?
Yep. Okay. Days.
All right. Greg tried to slip that bolt in there. But Daze the Undermount Adventurer. Mystic Sanctuary tapped.
Bridge. Pedal.
Force pitching Murktide on a second Undermountain Adventurer. Looks like Andrew is now hellbent. So Greg successfully fighting through the first couple of creatures. Still has a Chalice on 1 to deal with. If Greg has a Murktide, maybe... all right. So passing the turn back and forth a few times here. Andrew with 2 cards in hand. Dragon's Rage Channeler gets countered. I wonder what Andrew is drawing. Has enough mana. Bobble you. Looks like it was an Ancient Tomb on top.
Go ahead.
Something. Murky. Exile 3, 4, and 5. Yeah. That's 6/6.
All right, so a 6/6 Murktide coming in. Not bad. Only an artifact now in the graveyard for Greg as far as Delirium, but with a Chalice on 1 on the table, I'm not sure Greg is that worried about it. Wow, it's getting bounced. So Gone gets cast on Murktide. Main deck dead Gone.
City.
Yeah.
City of Traders comes in. Caves of Chaos Adventurer. All right, so Andrew will finally take the initiative, search for a basic. Gets a mountain. Delver of Secrets, that'll be countered. Another Delver of Secrets and a Dragon's Rage Channeler, all will be countered. Trying to fill this graveyard back up for Murktide Regent. Pass the turn.
What's his triggered ability or whatever?
He exiles the top card of my library when he attacks, and I can cast it this turn,
Okay.
or that turn. And then if I've completed the dungeon, he can cast it for free if it's at that moment.
Cool.
All right, I will put 2 counters on him.
All right, so going to the Forge with the Undercity in the upkeep, making Caves of Chaos a 7/5. It's a quick clock, attack for 7, trigger, reveal Simian Spirit Guide, which is in exile, not on top of the deck. All right, so basic mountain comes in, city goes away after making 2 mana. Simian Spirit Guide gets cast. And the follow-up is another Chalice on 1.
We're seeing some people come to results with this same list I had pre-initiative being printed.
We saw in a previous round that Greg is using Light Up the Stage in this list, which is pretty cool. All right, as Andrew takes game 1. Blue-Red Delver with Terramander, Young Pyromancer. I think True Name was in there, and Light Up the Stage was in there. Those were the good old days. Yeah, you can play a Chalice on 1 where there is already a Chalice on 1. The mana value is 2. X is 1. All right, so Bobble themselves, it looks like Lightning Bolt is on the top for Greg. A fetch land in play could change the top card of the deck if Greg doesn't want that, which is why we're activating it now in the first place. Get a chance to look at this next draw and adjust it if needed. All right, passing, drawing the bolt.
Thinking about like
Pretty sure that was a bolt.
black. Where I go.
Mountain to start the game for Andrew. Lotus Petal, pass.
Oh, I saw 2.
Okay. Bubble. Myself.
Bobble myself. Didn't get to see what this one was. But we'll see if Greg wants it or if it gets shuffled away. Bobble, fetch. Volcanic Island, okay. So whatever was there, Greg didn't want. Not sure if we're going to see Greg look again at their own top card. Or wait, let's see. All right, so it's going to be Andrew's top card. Looks like it was a dual land of some kind. Thank you, Greg. All right, it was a Wooded Foothills. Thank you. It gets difficult to see some of those Bobble reveals. All right, basic forest for Andrew. Pass the turn. Five cards in Andrew's hand. Scalding Tarn, Brainstorm.
Ridiculous. Okay. Fine. We're doing this. Fetch. Bolt. Play Darcy.
Okay, Dragon's Rage Chandler comes in.
Go. Hang on.
And the burn spell.
Oh wait, how big is it?
Currently.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I'll try to do 2 damage to it.
Okay, so
Say about that.
I think Greg pointed out that they do not have Delirium. All right, so Dead removes it successfully.
Yeah, I'm at 6.
There was instant land artifact in the graveyard before, but now Greg has Delirium after Dragon's Rage Channeler hits the graveyard. Fetching Wooded Foothills now is Andrew. It's basic forest.
It's also like, I probably should have pondered there too. Like the notion that like grief changes that equation. So like, I probably should have cantrip looking for more interaction rather than holding up fluster and then letting you have agency over it. So.
13,
Endurance?
14, 15.
Prevent 15 damage, you take 5. Can I
Endurance on the stack.
Yep. I mean, was it sure?
All right, choosing Greg's graveyard, of course. Not only shutting off Delirium, but also preventing a Murktide from potentially being cast next turn. So the graveyard is now empty for Greg. That's what you want Endurance to be doing.
What you want for a card like that? Like if you're gonna move a card like that.
If your opponent cast the Murktide already, it's too late. So you got to Endurance before they get a chance to cast one. Light up the stage. Okay, so there's light up the stage not being cast for its whatever its special cost is called. What is it called anyway? I forgot. All right, so Brazen Borrower was an exile. Spectacle, there you go. Choke to follow up. Ouch.
You're going to go run to Chipotle.
No, I ate before coming in. Appreciate that.
Days on choke. Andrew has the Lotus Petal to sack to pay for that. Choke will resolve. The days is not bad, though. Greg will get to play that Volcanic Island again untapped and potentially use it once. Choke is pretty annoying, though.
Whatever. Stupid game.
Second main. Turn.
All right, Greg fetching and casting a Brazen Borrower. Tapping out and locking down 2 islands, I'm assuming, in the process. Yeah, so there's a basic island, and it is locked under choke. Not the most exciting. Attack with Endurance. Greg can't even race this Endurance with Brazen Borrower. His life total's quite a bit lower. And Andrew will probably follow up with some more bangers. All right, so here's Undermountain Adventure. Does Greg have another Days? No, I think if Greg did, we would have seen it last turn. All right, so Andrew will take the initiative. I'd say the advantage bar is way over to the left right now.
Well, play the mountain, I guess. 'Cause I haven't played a land.
Petty Theft to bounce choke. Oh, right, because I thought Brazen Borrower was on Adventure for a second, but I forgot that it was actually put in exile by Light Up the Stage. I should have noticed that there was no Adventure token under the Brazen Borrower. Silly me. Greg, of course, would have one, right? But but yeah, Petty Theft on choke might not have been too bad to untap all your lands. It's a good point. My brain was telling me that Brazen Borrower was on an Adventure.
If I've completed the Undercity, it can tap for 6 green. Finish in 3/4.
So Undermountains can make some mana. If he just replays it, it at least gives you a like, I don't know what's in Greg's hand, but potentially bouncing it and untapping. Oh well, it would have had to be. Would Greg have been able to cast it last turn on Andrew's turn? There was 2 mana available. All right, it looks like Greg scoops it up.